Picture your last meal. Maybe it came from a package, maybe a menu, maybe you didn't think about where any of it came from at all. Now picture the same moment 200,000 years ago. There is no menu, there is no package. There is only the land and whatever it is willing to give you today. But the real answer to what your ancestors actually ate is far stranger and far more varied than the story you've probably been told. You have likely heard the term paleo diet. Meat, more meat, a campfire and a spear. But that image is mostly a modern invention, built more on marketing than on evidence. The actual diet of early humans was not a single thing at all. It shifted by season, by region, by whatever the earth happened to be offering that week. Think about what that means for a moment. Your ancestors did not choose a diet. They followed one wherever it led them. In the forests of Central Africa, a diet might lean heavily on fruit, nuts, and leaves. On the open grasslands, it might lean on roots, tubers, and the occasional kill. Along a coastline, it might lean on shellfish, fish, and seaweed. There was no single ancestral plate. There were thousands of them, each shaped by geography, and each one is a piece of why your body works the way it does today. The primatologist Catherine Milton spent years studying the diets of wild primates to understand what early hominins likely ate before written history began. Her research suggested that the diets of our closest living relatives were remarkably diverse, shifting constantly with the seasons, and rarely dominated by any single food group for long. If our closest primate cousins live this way, she argued, it is unlikely our own ancestors lived any differently. So why does the meat-heavy image persist? Partly because bones and stone tools survive in the fossil record, while fruit, roots, and leaves do not. A butchered animal bone can last for 100,000 years. A half-eaten fig cannot. Archaeologists were, for a long time, reading a story written almost entirely in the ingredients that happened to survive, and mistaking that survival for the whole menu. Here is where the story gets stranger. One of the most important things your ancestors ever ate may not have been a food at all. It may have been a technique. The anthropologist Richard Wrangham proposed something now known as the cooking hypothesis. His research argued that the discovery of cooking with fire did more than make food taste better. It fundamentally changed what a human body could be. Cooked food is easier to chew. It is easier to digest. It delivers far more usable calories from the exact same ingredients than eating them raw ever could. Think about what that trade actually means. A raw root might take enormous energy just to chew and digest, leaving little benefit behind. Cook that same root, and suddenly your body spends far less energy extracting far more fuel from it. Multiply that difference across every meal, every day, for thousands of generations, and you begin to see how something as simple as fire may have helped free up the energy that built a bigger, hungrier, more expensive organ sitting right behind your eyes: your brain. Is it strange to think the story of human intelligence might run partly through a cooking fire rather than a chase across the savannah? But cooking alone does not explain everything on the ancient plate. Long before farming existed, your ancestors were already eating plants in ways far more sophisticated than simply picking whatever grew nearby. The archaeologist Amanda Henry examined the dental plaque of Neanderthal remains, the hardened residue that builds up on teeth over a lifetime, and found something unexpected trapped inside it: microscopic starch grains. Evidence of cooked plant foods, roots, and grains, processed and prepared long before anyone had planted a single seed on purpose. This was not opportunistic grazing. This was preparation, and it points to a level of dietary knowledge passed down and refined over generations. This detail matters because it reframes the entire picture of what a hunter-gatherer diet actually was. The word hunter usually comes first. But across most known hunter-gatherer societies studied by anthropologists, gathered plant foods often made up the larger share of daily calories, not meat. Hunting was often unreliable, seasonal, and sometimes dangerous, while gathering was steady and could usually be counted on to bring something home. This also meant your ancestors' diets were built on a staggering range of ingredients compared to what fills a modern plate. Roots, tubers, seeds, insects, wild greens, shellfish along coastlines, marrow cracked from the long bones of animals that predators had already abandoned, honey when it could be found and defended from bees willing to fight for it. Nothing was wasted because nothing could afford to be. Consider what this means for your own body today. Your digestive system, your taste preferences, even your cravings were shaped across an almost unimaginable stretch of time by exactly this kind of variety and scarcity, not by the steady abundance you now walk past in a grocery aisle. That craving for something sweet did not appear by accident. In a world where sugar meant ripe fruit, and ripe fruit meant a rare and valuable burst of fast energy, craving it intensely was a survival advantage, not a modern weakness. That same craving still fires inside you today, standing in front of a shelf that never runs out of the thing it once took real effort to find even once. The same is true for fat and salt. Fat meant calories dense enough to be worth the risk of hunting a large animal. Salt was often scarce and essential enough that entire trade routes would eventually form just to move it between communities. Your ancestors were not weak for wanting these things. They were built to want them, because for most of human history, wanting them intensely was exactly what kept a person alive long enough to pass that wanting forward. None of this means the ancient diet was some effortless golden age either. Food was unpredictable. Some seasons brought abundance. Others brought real, sustained hunger. The body you carry today was not shaped by constant plenty. It was shaped by feast folded tightly against famine, again and again, until storing fat efficiently, craving calorie-dense food, and eating opportunistically whenever food appeared became written into your biology as a survival strategy rather than a flaw. So the next time you stand in front of a full refrigerator and still feel a pull towards something sweet, something fatty, something salty, you are not failing at willpower. You are hearing an old, patient voice, one shaped over hundreds of thousands of years in a world where the next meal was never guaranteed, and where wanting the richest thing available as intensely as possible was never a weakness at all. It was the whole strategy.